where are we? We're at, are we there yet? Are we there yet? So close. Little excitement at sea.
I'm Herb, and this is Heather. We're post-career empty nesters who found the next phase of our lives lacking. Inspired by other YouTubers, we bought a small fixer-upper sailboat and spent 2 years building her into our traveling home. Now we're about to find out if it was all worthwhile. Subscribe and come along on our next adventure as we set sails to rediscover what's really necessary to live a meaningful life.
Wind into myself, away from things I let go, floating on the waves. We go bottoms up, we go all the way. When you're feeling down, push the pain away.
Well, I hate starting any episode on a down note, but man, this waiting on the weather can be so frustrating. You know, I guess it goes without saying that when you live on a sailboat, you're really dependent on the wind and the current and the sea state. And I don't know about you, but my world doesn't always do what I want it to do. Still. Dead still. So here's the way it works for us. You know, the sail is meant to harness the power of the wind. It doesn't catch it like a parachute and pull you along. And it'll work that way, it's just not very efficient. Instead, it's meant to split the wind or catch the wind and work like an airfoil or the wing of an airplane.
When the wind flows over the outside, curved surface of the sail, it generates a pressure differential, or lift, which provides the driving force to move the boat forward. But when the wind is blowing directly into the front of the sail, well, things don't work. The sails luff, they flap and lose their shape as the wind passes through them. And as a result, the boat loses forward momentum and it may even start to drift backward.
Tell me that isn't a perfect metaphor for life. And you know, it's not like we need ideal conditions. Like, there are ways we can get by. For example, instead of sailing a course that would be directly into the wind, we can use a technique called tacking, where we sail at an angle to the wind in order to keep our forward momentum. For us, that angle, it's around 30 degrees.
By zigzagging back and forth, alternating between sailing at an angle to the wind on different sides of the boat, we can make progress upwind. But it also turns a trip of this distance into this distance. After a few days waiting on anchor, though, I'll take it.
Well, a little bit of an early morning for us. We were up, early morning for us, but engine started 7. So we are just now beginning to move out of Clarencetown and move toward Landrail on Crooked Island. Hopefully we're gonna have some good weather today. We're trying to break the good weather curse, the bad weather curse, or the no weather curse. I don't know, we'll see. They've been here too long? We've been here too long? Heather says there are 2 birds sitting on top of the mast. Getting ready for the day. Alrighty, we got all the sails up this morning. We're fighting a little swell, but we're just around what's known as Booby Rock, pulling off of Long Island. Let me give you a look around. Well, we've been sailing the wind instead of sailing our course, so we're going to make a mark for the logbook, a GPS mark or a set of coordinates, and then we're going to tack. Run south for 45 minutes maybe. See if we can't get a little course correction early on. 45 minutes in one direction. Now we've tacked and we're back on course. We've had a few little squalls come up. Kind of timing this one, I'm hoping to duck in behind it and try to give you a shot. This one's kind of extending overhead, but it's not, hasn't opened on, well, I might have just opened up a little bit of rain. It's just moving faster. Little excitement at sea. Alright, well, the autopilot could not keep up with wind shifts and the swell, so I can steer this thing, but we are skirting behind us, trying to kind of play it out as best we can, pick up a little speed and do a little course correction all at the same time. Gotta take advantage of whatever the universe gives you.
How much longer?
Are we there yet?
Are we there yet?
Oh, this is kind of fun. Well, that turned out to be a pretty good maneuver. We're still maintaining 5 knots. We've stayed just behind it. Land ho a while ago. Actually, I guess more so we can see a lighthouse before we can see land. And now you can clearly see land ahead of us. So close. Right at the anchorage, we're gonna get wet. It just dumped on us too. I thought it was gonna move behind us.
Right in
Caught
it.
me! Caught me! That's alright, we'll be alright.
I hope it stops before I have to get out there and anchor.
Yeah, so it gave us a downdraft and picked us up to over 6 knots. That's what I was trying to hang on for. We hit the downdraft as the rain came down. Well, Sheet Show beat us to the anchorage and reported rougher conditions than we had expected. Once again, we needed a plan B. But luckily, the Crooked Island Lodge and Marina was close by, and this place, pretty awesome.
This is a legendary bill fishing spot with a restaurant, a bar, private cabanas. It even has its own private airstrip. Not to mention, it plays a pretty fitting host for some of the best rigged charter boats in the Bahamas. Oh, and Columbus was here too. Once again, we're waiting on the weather, drying out and getting a few chores done.
Something you don't have to do to your car. We have to do to ours.
I had to clear out the cockpit, all the cushions, everything were just soaked. Just trying to dry everything out in the sun. Also, we got our laundry done at the marina. I don't know how much rain we got over the last... Well, it was really just one day of all-day rain, right? It was a lot of rain. But good thing it didn't sink our dinghy. We stayed indoors all day yesterday. So it's nice to get out here in the sunshine. Leaving Crooked Island Marina. It's a nice quick stop.
Yeah, that was a great stop.
Yeah, especially for being so remote.
Definitely a good place to ride out a storm.
We're off Crooked Island, bound for Atwood Harbor in the Acklands. And despite the newfound sunshine, our surroundings are changing. There's more ocean than island here, which means we're dealing with currents, swells, and, well, less accurate predictions. But like all things in life, the weather's temporary and always changing. It's how I react to it, interact with it, that has consequences. The big one, of course, is safety. Storms, high winds, rough seas, other hazardous conditions, well, they pose risk to both ship and crew. So I try to stay vigilant and make informed decisions about when to set sail and when to take shelter and when to alter my course in order to avoid dangerous conditions. The second, as you've already seen, is navigation. We consider factors such as wind direction and strength, currents, tides, even storms when charting our course, and the alternatives. The third reason, well, that's a little more complex. There's certainly comfort involved. Rough conditions make for unpleasant passages. But there's some planning mixed in, anticipating changes, identifying alternatives, making adjustments, even fixing things when they break. And we add to that efficiency, or the ability to deal with things. How much fuel are we using? How long is it going to take to get there? Can we even get there? All things impacted by the weather and the world. But what we're really talking about now is, well, me, right? In short, how I deal with the world, it's a reflection of me, of how good or capable or even valuable I am. And that's the actual issue here. It's not really the weather that I find frustrating, it's that I don't know what's going to happen next. And I'm not always certain that I'm going to know how to handle it. I mean, what if I can't? Did I mention I'm filming all this too? Embrace the unknown, they say. Well, that's easier said than done, mate.
All right, we're preparing to depart Atwood Harbor here in the Ackland Islands, getting ready to head toward Maiguana. Although, I will say, you know, if the weather's going to hold, looks like we have a good weather window for a change. So if the weather holds and we have our energy and we feel okay, listen, we may just continue on to the Turks and Caicos. That would be a 24-hour sail for us, which is more than we've done, probably a little more than that. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. In the meantime, we're going to head for Maiguana, make a game time decision once we get down there. Definitely a little sporty today.
The weather's holding for now, but there's a part of me that had hoped to leave these frustrations of things not going my way behind when I changed course, left the rat race, and set sail. And that's no doubt happened, but in truth, it was much the same there, and I imagine it's much the same where you are. Here are the feelings that I've been dealing with lately. To start with, there's the loss of control. Waiting for things to get better often involves relying on external factors or even other people. And this creates a little uncertainty, like we're in limbo because we feel we're dependent on external forces that are beyond our influence. Then there's the impact on plans and goals. I mean, waiting for things to improve is just a disruption. In my head, my plans and goals don't involve waiting on something else or someone else, and in this pause, I'm beginning to envision a less comfortable path or an undesired outcome. Next is the lack of progress. I get disheartened and sometimes even hurt when I can't see a visible progress or improvement in a situation. And when I feel stuck, well, it's difficult to maintain motivation or hope for a better future. Waiting for things to get better means I have to endure challenging circumstances or unpleasant emotions in the meantime. And for me, well, that's just mentally and emotionally draining. In the end, all I want is some relief from this situation. So how do I overcome these things? Well, I don't know really. I suppose I'm telling you about them. So if you have something that helps you, well, leave it in the comments. I'm sure I'm not the only one who could use this encouragement. In the meantime, as cliche as it is, I suppose I just wake up every day, breathe in and out, and try to put the most of putting one more mile behind the keel. Despite the struggle, it's pretty amazing to consider just how far we can go.
How do you feel like the sail's been so far?
It's been good. I've enjoyed it. It's like 7 o'clock, sun's going down. That's Devil's Point on Maiguana behind me. So, you know, this was kind of game time decision. We can tuck in about 5 or 6 miles into the anchorage. We could go around to the southeast point and just wait it out for a couple hours if we wanted to take a break, but I think after we've been talking about it, we're feeling pretty good. So let's just kind of head on to the Turks. We'll see. We still got a little bit of time to talk through it and decide. But it's been a nice evening.
It's been a nice day. We got to sail with no engine for quite a while.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, the wind has died down now. We have the engine on. You can probably hear it. You know, mostly to just kind of maintain course and some kind of pace. Whoop, see, there you go. Just the remnants of the day. But I think we only have this for an hour or two. We should be catching some of the kind of evening winds too. It'll help a little once we round the point also. But anyway, yeah, it's been a nice day.
I'm looking forward to the full moon.
Yeah, nice evening sail. We got to work out a watch schedule. Well, what do you think? Continue on?
Do it.
But I won't let the stormy seas throw me in open water. Let me have my peace and leave me till tomorrow. Wind into my sail, away from things I let go, floating on the waves. We go bottoms up, we go all the way. When you're feeling down,